Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa, and this is your youthful and educational platform where we inspire young people to dream big and to hope deeply and to inspire this generation of young leaders across the continent. Thank you so much for watching my previous videos. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. We are now at 300 subscribers. Asante sana to everyone who's been there all through the journey, those who came in between and those who've just joined. Remember to tell a friend to tell a friend. So today it's all about story time. I'm going to tell you a little story, and this story will be pegged on the things that I learned about life and about leadership in general. So here we go. So once upon a time, I was this 16-year-old girl at Alliance Girls High School. If you are not a Kenyan, Alliance Girls High School is a national school based in Kiambu County, in Kikuyu constituency, right here in Kenya. And it is one of the best girls' schools in the country, where leadership is nurtured and the next generation of inspiring women are there. Trust me, they're there. Now, this story time is based on a time when I tried to be a prefect. So at Alliance Girls, we used to call them captains, but depending on the school you went to anywhere here in Kenya or across the continent, you'd call them either prefects or monitors or presidents. I don't know what you call them in your school, but for us, we used to call them captains. So captains in general are people who lead different sectors of the school. So there are people who lead the dormitories or the hostels. There are those people who lead the tuition blocks. Others lead the health segment. Others lead the spiritual nourishment of the students. So at Alliance Girls High School, we normally select our captains when you're in Form 3. Form 3 is your third year of high school here. So I remember, I do not know how it happened. I don't know whether it was the class teacher who asked people to submit their names or we were asked to nominate people. I'm not so sure. It's been like 7 years, so I've forgotten a bit. But I remember my desk mate and I had this discussion and we were like, Cynthia, let's try to be captains. So for us, we wanted to be class captains, like you lead your class. So my friend and I were like, we'll just try. Imagine, let's just try. And guys, at Alliance Girls High School, I was this nervous kind of girl. At Alliance Girls High School, everybody is smart. Even those people who feel that they're not smart, trust me, they are very smart people. But they're smart people from all over the country. And others are very confident. So people like me were not so confident in our teens, but we're just like, we want to be captains. And then, we had seen like people who had been captains before us, the privileges they used to get, the opportunities they used to get. So we're just like, let's try. So I remember as I sat at my desk, my deskmate and I, each of us were drafting our own small manifestos. Guys, I was the person who rarely spoke, but here I was trying to be a class captain. So I remember I wrote the things that I would do for the class. I don't know, I'd make sure the class was clean, make sure the windows were cleaned, make sure that whoever was supposed to throw out the trash would do it, make sure that people wouldn't carry unnecessary stuff to class. Like people used to have like 5 sets of bags in the classrooms. And there I was with my manifesto and I was just like, I want to do this. This was Form 3, and I remember now we had to now pitch ourselves to the class. The way presidents usually come to do a debate, then you see the arguments that they have and what they think of their country. If you've watched the one of President Obama, and I do not remember who the guy from the other party was, but if you look at how they were debating all those issues, you'd understand what I'm talking about. So I remember we were like, I think we were like 5, 6, like 10 people. A lot of people wanted to be class captains. Hey, and then guys were thinking this would be the easiest role to be selected because it's just like a group of 40-something people selecting you and like vying for the whole school captain, where everybody from Form 1 to Form 4 has to know who you are. So each of us took our turns. We went to the front of the class and started narrating. So then it got to my turn, and my God, I was I was just like, will people even listen to me? I remember even at that time, I never used to think people used to take me seriously. So even by the time I was going to the front of the class, I was just like, I think people won't take me seriously. But I honestly do not know what pushed me to try to be a class captain. This was the very first time I ever pushed myself to be a leader. I wasn't one of those kids who grew up being head girls. No, I wasn't that student. So I went to the front of the class, and there I was with my little manifesto. And I was there, I was just like, the class will be clean. Please vote for me. I don't know, I'll make sure our teachers keep time. I don't think I even needed that because our teachers were just disciplined, just had awesome teachers. So they were definitely going to come to class. It's not like me being class captain would make them come to class. Our teachers were always in class. Anyway, so there I was trying to give my ideas, and I remember looking back at the audience before me, and I think I could only see like 2 people looking at me, and I'm not even sure if those 2 people were listening, but everybody else was minding their business. Whoever was finishing the assignment was finishing. Whoever was sleeping was sleeping. Whoever was talking to a friend was talking. People were not listening. People were not listening to me. And I remember even when I went to when I went to sit, you know the way like when somebody says all those nice points, people start clapping, and then they're just like, yeah, this is the leader we want. People didn't do that for me. And it wasn't just me. A lot of other people who who tried to be captains, they all faced the same scenario. So now that we are at 300 subscribers and I've done an analysis of my audience, I have seen that 75% of the guys who are watching right now, or who rather subscribe to this channel, are between the ages of 18 to 24, which I think is good news for me because this is sort of the age group that I am really targeting, because these are the young leaders of this country who are looking for an opportunity to thrive, and that really excites me. So this video is really for you and for anyone else who is a parent, a person in authority, who can share this with a young person who's nearly my age. I am 25, so if you know someone who's older than me or younger than me who could relate to this video, please do share this with them. So out of my little experience, here are the things that I learned about leadership and about life in general. The first thing I learned is really the role of parents, teachers, guardians, basically anyone who's in charge of taking care of a child or a young person. I learned that they really need to nurture confidence and leadership skills in children very early in life. You see, at this time I was 16. Okay, I was 17. Yeah, I was 17. I must have been 17. I was still a child, but I was not a small child. And I think for me, trying to be class captain all of a sudden, for me, I think at that time it was a very big stretch for me. I had never tried to be a leader. I was always the person who took a back seat. And it's not that I didn't have leadership qualities. I just didn't like being at the front of the stress. I didn't want the teacher to come to class and ask why people were making noise and be the one who was stressed. And then I was also very focused on attaining good grades. So all these other things that were not adding up to my grades, I felt that they would really interfere with my classwork. So I think suddenly plunging myself into trying to be a leader, a class captain, I know it might look like a small thing, but it's a big thing. In high school, this is a big thing. I think it was a bit of a big stretch for me. So why I really think that parents should nurture these qualities early in life is that your child will gain this confidence very early on in life. It's really going to help them in the long run, because by the time they are adults, they've already overcome the awkward phase of, oh, I can't speak in front of people, oh, I'm scared, I'm going to stammer if I speak of people, oh, I don't know what to say. Really, let me tell you, if you start nurturing these qualities very early in life, it's very important. And your child or whoever is a child in your life does not have to be like a school captain or a class captain. Sometimes it's leading their Sunday school activities. Sometimes it's leading the madrasas in the mosques. Sometimes, it's all those other things that may be even outside of the school system. That's going to help them. It's probably leading the kids in their estate. I don't know. Even in the home, they probably have much younger siblings. They get to learn from them. So that's the first thing that I learned. The next thing that I learned is the importance of allowing children or nurturing the self-esteem of children. And if you are a young person who is watching this, it's important for you to have a very high self-esteem of yourself. Because now I'm looking back and I was thinking that time when people were not listening to me and my peers who also tried to be class captains, is that when I went back to see it, I felt that them not accepting me as a leader was a reflection of who I was on the inside. And let me tell you, I do not think at that time these guys had any ill intentions. That's the way high school works. Sometimes you speak in front of people and people are bored. It's life. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just sharing this so that you can also get these principles to apply in life. So for me, I felt like, oh my God, it must be such a bad reflection of who I am. Is it because I have short hair? Am I not beautiful enough? Am I not rich enough? Am I not popular enough? There are all those things that start coming into your mind as a teenager. And now I look back and I'm like, if I had a very high self-esteem, knowing that even if I had not been selected, it wouldn't be a reflection of me. Remember, I've told you there are like 10 other people who are vying. So you see, out of those 10 people, only one person can be class captain. And for me, I think I should have thought, oh, it's that other person who's been selected and this is their opportunity and they're going to lead me and I will accept them as my leader. And it shouldn't be a reflection of what I feel on the inside. So that's one thing I learned that is very important for you as a leader. Have confidence in yourself that even when people reject you, you're able to pick yourself up and try again for another leadership role or wait for another time to be a leader. The other thing that I learned about leadership, and this is something that you as a young person should know is very important even in life outside of being a class captain, a dorm prefect, a class representative if you are at the university, is the importance of being visible. This is a life principle that I learned at Alliance Girls High School and it is what I am applying right now, because I noticed that the people who were selected as captains, either as class captains, school captains, wherever captains, they were visible for a very long time. From the time they were like in Form 1, they used to be like those, they were like for example, our school captain who was selected during our year, she was our bell ringer. So everybody knows that it's this person who rings the bell. So obviously when you're looking for a school captain or a deputy school captain, it's them we're going to select because that is who we know. And that gives you visibility. Some of these other people who were selected were already leading other institutions within the school. So for example, like we used to have inter-house drama festivals, inter-house music festivals, inter-house sports. These were the people who were leading their teams in those small segments when they were like in Form 1 or Form 2. And because of that, they were visible. And even in Kenyan institutions, when we are selecting school captains, in as much as children need to have the independence of selecting their leaders, our teachers still have a very big say in who becomes captain. So for example, they will say nominate 5 people to be school captains, and once you nominate, out of the 5 people that the students have chosen, it will be the teachers who will decide who will be the 2 to be head girl and deputy head girl, or head boy and deputy head boy, or captain, deputy captain, whatever you call them in your school. And they were selected out of their visibility in different aspects because their subject teachers or their class teachers had seen what they do in life. And that principle also applies in life right now. When you are looking to be a leader in any area of your life, People want to see someone who's already been visible. They want to see what you've been doing out there before they give you a post. They're not just going to decide, this is going to be our president right now. They've never heard of you. You've never been a minister. And you don't even have to be like in any of the roles. You've never even tried to vie as MCA. You've never tried to do anything. In short, they've never heard of you. People need People need you to prove yourself before they give you a platform. That applies in high school and it applies in the real world as well. The other thing that I learned is the importance of doing well in class. And like I told you, at Alliance Girls High School, everybody is brilliant. Trust me, even someone like me who used to get E in mathematics, I still got an A in the national exam. Oh, by the way, I used to get E's in maths, but yeah, I had an A in mathematics in KCSE, and somehow I managed to do that. So what I'm saying is, everybody in that institution is brilliant, but you still have to do well in class, because when you do well in class, when the teacher knows that you're doing well in class, they're likely to know that you're going to be all-rounded, that you becoming a leader will not interfere with your work. And this principle also applies in terms of leadership in the real world. And it's not just about getting an A. I believe it's all about doing well in life in general. If they see you excelling in the mini tasks, if people see you excelling the mini tasks that they give you, probably you were told to do a presentation, you did it well, probably you were given an assignment to run at the office, wherever you are, and you did it well, they're likely to give you a higher post. That is what I mean when I talk about doing well in class and then translating it to the real life. The other thing that I learned in terms from that experience and in the real world is making friends with the right people. So like in high school at the time, when you compare people who were able to be captains and school prefects and all that, they also had friends who were captains and school prefects, or people who had a sort of authority. So if you were like a Form 3 girl and you wanted to be a school captain, for example, it would be very wise for you to have been friends with the previous school captain, or at least it would have been wise for them to know who you are, because you never know, they will vouch for you. At least when your name is put on the table, they can vouch for your name. And even if you do not become school captain, you can still become a leader of some sort. So that is something that I learned. And in the real world, this is the same thing. Your network is your net worth. When the right people know you, they're more likely to mention you in a room full of opportunities, even when you're not there. A lot of decisions that are made about your career and are made about your life are usually made when you are minding your business. You could even be asleep and people are in a meeting and they're like, oh, we're looking for a young person who can lead this thing, or who can be in a youth advisory council, for example. Who do you think? And they put down like 10 names, Cynthia Nyongesa, who, and they start analyzing, and then they select 1, 2, 3 people, and it's because they knew you, so that way they're able to vouch for you in the right room of opportunities. There's a video by this lady, I do not remember her name, but I believe she was working at either one of these big financial institutions in the US, either Goldman & Sachs or JP Morgan, one of them. And she was saying if she would talk to her 25-year-old self, she would network with the right people so that they would mention her in a room full of opportunities. Yes, there's working hard, there's showing up, there's discipline, but then there's also people vouching for what you can bring to an institution. So that also applies in the real world. The other thing that I learned is being knowledgeable. When I was in high school, I was very privileged that people would come to our school, talk to us about scholarships in the US, Equity Wings to Fly, Brook House, all these opportunities that existed. And not every young person in this country has that chance. But I also realized people who went further, there's those people who come to school, they talk to you, and then there's those people who now go further and now want to understand the mini details of that talk you've been given in that dining hall. and they will be so knowledgeable about scholarships, they'll be knowledgeable about opportunities and all that. And that helped them, because when opportunities like applying to the Africa Leadership Academy or going for exchange programs came up, these were the people who were selected. And at least even if they were not selected, their names were put, at least your name will be put there on the table to be considered. And this principle applies in the real world. If you are not knowledgeable of what exists out there, you will never put yourself out there. And the main way of you being knowledgeable is really looking for information on the internet. I've done lots of videos about networking, about things you need to do to keep your time while you are at the university. Please do check out those videos. I will also leave them in the description bar below or above here, somewhere above here. So look out for that and check them out and see how you can learn how to be knowledgeable. The other thing that I learned from that experience is the issue of imposter syndrome. Sometimes you feel that you are not worthy or deserving of an opportunity because who am I to shine? But who are you not to shine? So for example, like when I was going to vouch for myself to be school captain, I was just like, anyway, I'm just doing this, but I already know I won't be selected because I don't think I'm good enough. And I think if I had believed in myself more, probably I would have pushed myself more. But of course, there are many other factors to be considered, very many other factors to be considered for you to be selected as a captain there. But I think if I had believed in myself and I had believed that I was deserving of an opportunity to lead, I would have vouched for myself more. I would have spoken more audibly. I would have articulated my issues more audibly. So don't have that imposter syndrome. And that applies in the real world. When you're constantly doubting yourself, when you're constantly thinking, I've only gotten this opportunity because I'm lucky, or because I wouldn't have gotten it if this person would not have opened that door, then you'll constantly doubt yourself. And very interestingly is that a lot of people are always doubting themselves. They're always thinking, hey, that person has made it. And somebody else is also looking at you, oh, that person has made it. So just believe in yourself. At least remove or at least reduce the imposter syndrome in yourself, just so that you're able to vouch for yourself, and you're also able to believe that when you put your ideas out there, people are selecting you because they believe in what you are going to bring to the table. It is a very simple concept that I'm trying to derive from my experience trying to be prefect in high school, but it also applies in the real world. The other thing that I learned is the aspect of stop bearing so much responsibility on yourself for things that may go wrong that are beyond your control. And so I'm talking about this because I remember trying to be a captain and trying to be a leader, and in many other ways, I always was afraid of putting myself out there because I didn't want to let everybody else down. So for example, at our school, we used to have inter-house drama, inter-house music, where hostels, dormitories would compete against each other. And guys, I am not a dancer. I do not know how to dance very well. I am one of those people who have two left feet. I have two left feet. And I remember during those inter-house drama, music, whatever, I never used to want to participate because I used to see there are girls there, they would dance, I'm telling you, and you just look at them, you're like, wow, how come I can't shake my body like that? And I used to feel like if I participated in these things, the teachers will know that I'm not good at it. And hence the whole house, or rather the whole dormitory, will lose marks because of me. And I think I took this so seriously. Guys, it was never that serious. Trust me. Even if I danced so badly, who cares? Nobody... Right now I'm in the real world. Nobody asks me whether I danced very well in school and now the dormitory missed some marks or something. But anyway, I wish I had known that. So even as a leader, you need to know that, yes, you have to bear the responsibility of what happens, but not everything is your fault. Just because that other person there is the one who brings everybody else down, brings a whole institution, it is not all your fault. So putting all the blame on yourself. I'm telling you this because that happened to me in high school, but I have learned that it's the same thing that applies in the real world once you finish high school. Then the other thing that I learned in terms of becoming a leader is the importance of knowing that it's going to be okay. You will be okay. Because I remember I used to think, now I didn't even start becoming a leader when I was young, when I was in high school, because the truth is I used to see like people who had been selected as captains, or all these people that get scholarships to go study abroad. They try and apply to institutions like the Africa Leadership Academy, and they'd be selected. And I used to feel so sorry for myself because I wanted to be part of institutions like that. I wanted to go to Harvard and Oxford and all those places, but I used to feel like I had started becoming a leader too late, and I felt like I was never going to enjoy the same opportunities because I just didn't start early in life. And I remember when I was doing my final exams, and I told myself, when I go to university, I will try and put myself out there. And remember, even when I was starting, I was even trying to make up. I was trying to make up for all the time I had lost. I had lost in quotes, trying to become a leader while I was at the university. But you know what, guys? Even if you are not a captain, you are not popular, I don't know, you didn't go to Harvard, I don't know, you didn't go where when you were in high school, it's never too late to start to be a leader. You can start right now. What matters right now is not yesterday, it's not tomorrow, it's what matters right now. At this moment right now, are you going to decide to be a leader? And don't feel sorry for yourself if you tried to be a leader in school and your teachers, and I don't know who didn't select you, and I don't know who didn't vote you in. And trust me, you might even be president. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, the point of this story is that you're going to be okay, even if you started your leadership activities later than others, even if you started earlier than others. If you started earlier than others, it's still okay. You can still continue to be a very good leader. That's it. That's it for my story time today. Me trying to be a class captain at Alliance Girls High School. Guys, like I told you, you're going to be okay. You are awesome. You are amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in to Cynthia Untamed. As usual, do tell a friend to tell a friend, and tell me what you'd like to see in the next video. Remember, this is your youthful and educational platform. Bye.